I'm Leah, and I'm going to be going first in my group today, and we're discussing Chapter 4, which is sleep. I'm going to start us off by talking about establishing good sleeping habits, and I'm going to talk about 3. I'm going to talk about avoiding eating too close to bedtime, maintaining a regular sleep schedule, and creating a sleep-friendly environment. So first, we want to avoid eating big meals, especially ones with high fat content, within 3 hours of going to sleep, because whenever you're lying down, the force of gravity can't really assist in the movement of food to digest properly, and it can cause complications like heartburn, acid indigestion, and just really decrease the quality of sleep as a whole, because you have to get up, you have to fix your body position, especially if you have acid reflux, it can be an issue. So we really want to avoid food consumption the closer it gets to our bedtime. Second, we want to maintain a regular sleep schedule, because whenever you have a regular sleep schedule, you go to sleep faster, you wake up faster, because your body and your internal clock is just conditioned to go to sleep and wake up at the same time, close to the same time pretty much every single day. 60% of people actually reported that a very good to good sleep quality when they had a regular sleep schedule, but only 45% of people reported a good or very good sleep quality when they didn't have a regular sleep schedule. Unfortunately, students, we don't have regular sleep schedules, whether it's extracurricular sports, classes, homework. It can just really, which can really throw off our internal clock, and we just can really decrease our quality of sleep. And so lastly, we want to create a sleep-friendly environment. So that's everything from mattresses, pillows, sheets, temperature in the room, air quality, noise, all stuff like that. And it can be a time-consuming thing whenever you're about to go to bed to make sure that it's a sleep-friendly environment, but it's really worth that time because, it's much better to have a comfortable environment whenever you're sleeping than to not and just be lazy about it and skip it. And so that's my spiel. I'm now going to pass it off to Jenna, who is going to talk about the sleep cycle.
Hey guys, Natalie got to talk to you guys about good sleep habits and share some fun facts that she learned, but I'm going to go into more of the science behind sleep and what actually happens when your body does go to sleep. So first off, there are 2 different categories of sleep, and those are NREM, which stands for non-rapid eye movement sleep, and REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. So in NREM, your body goes through different stages from 1 to 4, and you actually spend about 75% of your sleep in NREM. And in stage 1, it's kind of that awkward phase where you're not even into a light sleep yet. You're kind of in a limbo where if something, say, were to happen, you'd wake up instantly. This stage usually only lasts 10 seconds to 10 minutes. So stage 2 is when things start picking up, but your body is slowing down into an unconscious phase and not moving as much. You're also very much unaware at this point of your surroundings, so this stage will only last 10 to 20 minutes. So in stage 3 and 4, they kind of go hand in hand with each other, and your body now has reached a point where you have entered a phase of deep sleep, and if someone were to wake you up, you would definitely feel tired or groggy. So these phases last around 20 to 40 minutes at a time throughout the duration of your sleep, and your heart rate, blood flow, and brain activity are slow and steady as well. So now you have a little bit of information on the first part of the sleep. I'm going to finish up with the other half of the sleep cycle, which is the REM cycle, and like I mentioned before, that stands for rapid eye movement. So this phase begins about 70 to 90 minutes after you've fallen asleep, and this is when you might start experiencing dreams and nightmares. It's also the opposite of stage 3 and 4, where in those 2, your body functions slow down, but in this sleep, your heart rate, brain activity, and all those start to increase, and your body is acting like it's been awoken, but you're still actually asleep. So now after your first REM cycle, your body go through the different stages and bounce back and forth between REM and NREM about every 90 to 100 minutes until you've woken up. So now that you've had a little bit of background information on the way sleep actually works, you'll hear from my next group mate, Rudy, who's going to share with you some information he learned regarding suprachiasmatic nuclei.
Hello everyone, I want to do a short explanation about the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or you can also say the SEN. The SEN is located in the forward region of the brain called hypothalamus, and it's a really small part of the brain, but it's really important for our personal health. The SEN is composed of around 100,000 neurons, and it is responsible for controlling our circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is a biological pattern, like you wake up every day in the morning, you go throughout the day, and at the end of the day you go to bed. And you do exactly the same thing the next day, and that's day for day, because each of us has a 24-hour cycle of activity and rest, and that is the circadian rhythm. And without the SEN, you will not have any sense of time anymore. So you would go to sleep at random times. So basically, if we damage the SEN, we would lose all of our circadian rhythms. So people with Alzheimer's, when they damage or when the SEN of them is affected, they would lose their sense of time. So they don't know anymore when they have to go to bed and when they have to be awake. So the SEN controls also falling asleep and awakening. That's why it's really important for our health. And now Alessandra will speak about sleep disorders. Thank you.
I'm Alessandra, and my topic is on sleep disorders. The book talks about 4 common disorders among college students, and they are insomnia, sleep apnea, sleepwalking, and sleep-related disorders. First off is insomnia, and this is defined as the difficulty to fall or stay asleep at least a few nights a week. And common symptoms of insomnia include taking longer than 30 minutes to fall asleep, experiencing 5 or more awakenings throughout the night, which results in sleeping a total of less than 6.5 hours, and lastly, experiencing less than 15 minutes of deep sleep throughout the night. It's often caused by stress, anxiety, or medical problems, which a lot of students do experience. And chronic insomnia is difficult to treat, but the first steps into treating it is for individuals to improve their sleeping habits and their environment, and using relaxation techniques. Second is sleep apnea, and this is the sleep disorder where individuals have periods of not breathing during sleep. About 40% of people in the US experience sleep apnea, and there are 2 main types, these being central sleep apnea and obstructive sleep apnea. Obstructive is the most common, and it's where the upper airway is obstructed during sleep. As it's the most common, it is also sometimes considered to be fatal. And one treatment of severe sleep apnea is to use a CPAP machine. The third disorder is sleepwalking. And people who sleepwalk act like they are awake but do not respond to others if they're being talked to. And more than half the time do not remember ever having an episode of it. There may be a genetic link to people who suffer from sleepwalking, but most people who do sleepwalk do not have a family history of it. And lastly is the sleep-related eating disorders. People with this disorder eat and drink while asleep, and there's a newly identified sleep disorder known as night eating syndrome, where individuals will binge eat while asleep and eat very little the next day. Some people with this disorder consume more than 50% of their daily calories at night, and treatment for this disorder are medications and behavior management techniques.